TYT has 6 million subscribers and just so conveniently have shifted to anything but resistance, anything but holding the line, any way that we could find a way to have a kumbaya moment with MAGA.
What's going on, you guys? Today we have Ben Dixon talking with the Vanguard. He is dragging Cenk Uygur. Cenk Uygur is meeting with Dr. Phil and Glenn Beck. We have Ben Dixon giving his take on it.
Of independent media and how we're small, and I think that it's true that it's going to have to be truly independent folks that rise up, because we've seen so much complacency across the board as the United States government has been getting more emboldened to erode the rights of the people around us. We already live in a fundamental carceral state. We live in a police state. We live in the most incarcerated society of all time. And now we have Secretary of State Marco Rubio discussing with El Salvador's president to send incarcerated quote-unquote Americans. They're talking about undocumented folks. We're shipping people from our country to El Salvador, which is a huge leap, potentially, right? They're negotiating.
And it says legal residents too, not just undocumented people.
Exactly, which would be crazy. And again, I don't want to alarm anybody. It hasn't happened yet. We have the time to resist this, but this is what they're discussing. This is what they're doing temp checks on. You know, we talked about how people haven't been resisting. The more that they think they can get away with, the more they will get away with, right? And now they're doing all kinds of PR propaganda, man. I know you've seen it. This is Dr. Phil. Fuck Dr. Phil. All my homies hate Dr. Phil. Fuck you. I remember I saw a video. I think it's in this clip. He's shocked that the guy recognizes him because that's how far he's dehumanized these undocumented folks. He thinks they don't have eyes and ears. He thinks they don't watch the TV at the doctor's office like everybody else. Yeah, your stupid fucking show is on in the McDonald's that nobody's paying attention to, Dr. Phil. He's seen you before.
That's the craziest shit too. I can imagine getting arrested and Dr. Phil is with the pigs. Like with you're already being fucking humiliated, and then you see Dr. fucking Phil around the car, and you're like, "Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?"
And so you have him. He's doing this all the time, right? In Chicago, in Dallas, he's having a time. He's signing up. He's volunteering his time on his own dime. He's going around just because he wants to see undocumented folks be treated like fucking, second-class citizens, third-class citizens, dehumanized, ripped from their families. Imagine wanting to see that. Imagine spending your money to go see that. You guys might have been exposed to his pivot, right, when he went on Popular.
And we all know why Cenk is doing this. Cenk Uygur wants to sway Dr. Phil. He wants to slowly but surely get on his side to see where he's coming from. And, you know, what we say to that is, yeah, right. It's complete lack of awareness. Cenk Uygur is believing that he can reason with these people who are fed off of contradictions. They are entirely made out of contradictions. They are believing in a cult leader at this point. Cenk Uygur is he's not even capable. There's no capability of talking to these people besides listening to maybe if they start to have issues, maybe in a year or so, if this starts to go downhill, if things are still not looking up, we may be able to hear the sufferings of MAGA blowhards who may regret what they're doing, but you first have to listen. You can't, and he's not going there to listen to anything that they're talking about as far as like suffering wise. He is listening to them completely crap on the left.
Progressive show, The Young Turks, Dr. Phil, on how to fight back against identity politics. So they were hearing from a pro, and now, if you can believe it, Cenk is going to Dallas. This is from yesterday, so I imagine they're recording this as we speak. I'm going to Dallas right now. Yeah, Dallas, where we just showed you a video of Dr. Phil. The first video is Chicago. The second video is Dallas. He's in Dallas making propaganda for ICE. Cenk Uygur flies down there, and the Blaze TV owned by Glenn Beck. He's going to talk to some asshole named James Poulos, who I've never heard of. You know why? Because we need to talk to each other and begin in understanding one another. This dude would literally be sitting down with Nazis during the Third Reich and talking about, I just want to understand why you want to put all these people in the Warsaw Ghetto. I just want to understand. If we don't know why they want them all loaded up on trains and sent to Warsaw and just rounded up together, we just need to understand it. I want to understand. I'm sorry, you want to hate them all. You want to call them all Nazis. Fine. Well, they're just people that are doing their job, okay? They're rounding up folks that the government said is against the law, and they're putting them somewhere else. you call them Nazis, fine. I want to call them fellow Americans.
And have a beer with them.
It's fucking crazy, right?
Yeah,
It's demented.
I do think this is a new fucking low for Cenk going on Dr.
Yes.
Phil, or going to the Blaze to talk to Dr. Phil after Dr. Phil has participated in these ICE raids, after he's
Yes.
lent a friendly and trustworthy face to this absolute domestic horror that we're witnessing. Because a lot of people do like Dr. Phil. I mean, left, right, like, you know, even like my sister fucking loves Dr. Phil. You know, there's a ton of people that just enjoy his content, you know, even if they find it problematic. You know, it's that classic reality television. And instead of doing anything fucking useful with his popularity, he's literally helping to manufacture consent for this Nazism,
Yes.
which 100% this fascism in this country.
Yes.
So I do think it's a total fucking new low for Cenk, and exactly what the three of us all were freaking out about
Yeah.
when he embarked on this right-wing pivot, on this
And
journey.
who doesn't like Dr. Phil? You know what I mean? It's not as good as Jerry Springer. It's not good as Maury, but like, you know, it has a similar feel to it. It was classic daytime television that you could just sit back and, like, you know, numb your brain to. So what better person to, you know, stick up for? That's one of the best things that I see with the right, with the conservatives, is who their like people are that are these faces for Trump. We have like Kid Rock, Dr. Phil, the McMahons. It's all of these people that are so embedded in the American culture. It's literally like watching American Psycho live in front of you. You're literally watching nothing but just symbols and images right in front of you that literally mean nothing. We have the Dr. Oz on the it's a little exhausting, but it is laughable if you have a pretty twisted sense of humor.
It's exactly what we said would happen. He's continuing to say, you know, this is an acceptable ideology that we have to understand and reckon with instead of fucking defeating. No, we don't have to understand Dr. Phil. We have to defeat Dr. Phil. That's what
That's
pisses
right.
me off about this. And yeah, you can sit down with your neighbor who has a fucking MAGA flag or a MAGA sign and try to understand that person, because that is literally just your fellow American, your neighbor, or someone that pays taxes and might be misinformed, brainwashed, propagandized, whatever. But people like Dr. Phil at this point, they're the ones doing the propagandizing. They're the ones doing the brainwashing of normal Americans. They are not normal Americans. Dr. Phil, again, is not someone you have to understand. He's someone you have to defeat.
That's right. That's right. And there's a reason why TYT has 6 million subscribers and just so conveniently have shifted to anything but resistance, anything but holding the line, any way that we could find a way to have a kumbaya moment with MAGA. I'm sorry, but if you all had 6 million subscribers, if I had 6 million subscribers in this moment, I think we would be rallying them into action. I think we would be moving our audience to stand in direct opposition to what MAGA is doing. But instead, Cenk Uygur of TYT is busy trying to hobnob with the rich and famous over there in MAGA land. Meanwhile, Anna Kasparian sees her numbers are down, so now she decided to go ahead and pick yet another fight, this time with Emma Vigeland and Francesca, right? She is intentionally engaging in this type of clickbaity and type of activity. Why? Because she needs to find her way further in the right as well. They've been doing it right in front of our eyes. And Zach and Gavin, let me tell you, that's why I appreciate your work. You all have been holding it down on this message from day one, actually, well, day two, because Ole Olurin, she was the one who I think she peeped it before all the rest of us.
Yeah, Ole definitely got on TYT and really kind of made it all clear when Cenk decided to just come at her for no fuck.
And yeah, it's difficult to watch, you know, I guess if you really liked the Young Turks at one point, if you like Cenk Uygur, seeing him, you know, sort of just fade into the oblivion of MAGA to become just another face for the conservative American culture. But at the end of the day, you got to just see through all these people. They're all a part of one big machine, whether it's Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz, Dr. Cenk, Stupid Face. You just have to look through all of these people. They're nothing more than just, you know, like really, really sad. It's sad individuals. They've sold their actual like soul, and they probably, you know, they were probably raised to do something like that. But as far as like, they don't really have a care for other human beings. They don't have that development for other people. That part has not been developed. The only thing that they are focused on is how can I get money at this point. That's all they really care about. That's all that I mean, 6 million people, that is quite a lot of people to do something with. And then on top of that, you can also maybe draw a little bit of a conclusions like, why are these people following this? Why do people love these images? Why do people love these snobs that don't really care about them whatsoever? Why do they want to also fall into the trap of just wanting money?
Fucking reason when she was having a friendly debate with him about cash bail. He said that she went on the show to argue to abolish all prisons, which is absolutely not true. He was crashing out on Twitter arguing with David Dole of all people. David Dole is a sweetheart, man. There is absolutely nothing that you could say about David Dole that would prickle any feathers. If you guys look at it, he looks like a Boy Scout. He's literally got his Twitter profile picture in front of a lake with canoes, and it's a picture of him holding his son. You'd have to be a monster to try and come for, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Come
the guy
on,
is
man.
really,
Tell me about it. Come on.
and so it's like, okay, so you're gonna make fun of a public defender from in Flatbush, Brooklyn, who comes on your show and says, no, dude, we actually shouldn't allow rich people to stay out of jail for crimes, and then put those poorer people in jail for that exact same crime. And essentially, we have to remind everybody that's what cash bail is. If you have money, you're out of jail. If you don't have money, you're in jail. So it's a crime for poor people, but not for rich people, right? And you know what they always say about jail.
So there we have it, you guys. We have the former host, Ben Dixon, talking with the Vanguard, and they're both, exposing Cenk Uygur, continuing to shed light on what's not really there, seeing past the image, the symbol that Cenk Uygur and the Young Turks has now become, and as far as how that has gone together completely with the MAGA narrative. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's another day in the progressive way.